Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR. The President disclosed this in a statement personally signed and made available to journalists. The President also said would honor his running mate, Babagana Kingibe, and the late human rights activist, Gani Fahimi, with the second highest national honor, the Grand Commander of the Niger, GCON. The late Abiola died in detention during his struggle to actualize his mandate as contained in the annulled election. The Senate has confirmed the appointment of Festus Okoye as the National Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Other nominees confirmed include Ahmed Mahmoud Bello, Monday Udo Tom, and Atahiru Garba Madami as the Resident Electoral Commissioners, RECs. The Senate has confirmed Festus Okoye as National Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Other nominees confirmed include Ahmed Mahmoud Bello, Monday Udo Tom, and Atahiru Garba Madami as Resident Electoral Commissioners, RECs. Presenting the committee report, Senator Nazib said the rejection of Ahmed Bello Mahmoud for the third time is based on the petition from a state governor, a notion faulted by the Senator Kaben Marafa, who insists his rejection is baseless and without reason.
The Senate Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, after a careful scrutiny of the curriculum vitae and other accompanying document and security clearances of Barrister Festus Okoye, Elder Monday Udo Tom, and Mr. Atahiru Garba Madami, and having been satisfied about their exposure, experience, performance, qualifications, and integrity, except Ahmed Bello Mahmoud, who had petitioned against him from the state, the committee recommends as follows. 1. That the Senate do confirm the nomination of A. Festus Okoye, Imo State, National Electoral Commission. B. Elder Monday Udo Tom, Akwa Ibom State, Resident Electoral Commissioner. C. Garba Atahiru Madame, Niger State, Resident Electoral Commissioner. As National Electoral Commissioners and Resident Electoral Commissioners, respectively. 2. That the Senate do reject the nomination of Ahmed Bello Mahmoud as Resident Electoral Commissioner representing Zamfara State for the third time.
But Senator Kaben Marafa faulted the committee report, insisting that the rejection of the nominee for being a non-indigent of a state holds no water. Marafa, who accused the INEC committee chairman of compromise, said the petition was not accompanied with a sworn affidavit as required by Senate rules.
Mr. President, this report, again, I want to say, is not a true testimony of what happened in the committee of INEC. Senator Nezipi compromised. Yes, he compromised. Yes, he compromised, and I have evidence. I will show it.
Senator Marafa, I have to call you to order. That is, no, you can't say that. You cannot say that.
Supporting Senator Marafa's stance, Senator James Manager expressed displeasure with the committee's report on the ground that the committee did not investigate the petition against Ahmed Mahmoud Bello.
As far as I'm concerned, this report is not very complete. Not very complete in the sense that it's talking about the committee in receipt of a petition. The committee has not come out to say what the committee investigated and the outcome on the result of that petition in rejecting this particular nominee.
After a long deliberation, the lawmakers, however, rejected the committee report and approved Ahmed Mahmoud Bello's nomination and 3 other nominees via voice votes.
The Senate confirmed the nomination of Elder Monday Udo Tom as Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent Electoral Commissioner. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. With the Senate confirmed the nomination of Atahiru Garba Madami as nomination as the Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Ahmed Bello Mahmoud as Resident Electoral Commissioner of Independent National Electoral Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Barrister Festus Okoye as National Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
After persuasion from his colleagues, Marafa withdrew the statement and apologized to the committee chairman.
Looking at the honor done to Zamfara State, not me, by my colleagues, I am most humbled by the solidarity extended to me and the people of Zamfara State. And in view of that, Mr. President, I want to sincerely apologize to all of them and to everybody that feels offended by what I said about the committee of INEC, including the chairman and the people of Bauchi State where he represents.
Successful nominees were charged to contribute a quota to transform election process in the country. The House of Rep members Abdul Muminim Jibrin and Mohammed Kuduji are to face the Ethics and House of Representatives for daring to bear their minds on the impeachment and the threat issued against the President Muhammad Buhari at an emergency joint session of the National Assembly. Jibrin returned recently from 180 days legislative day suspension on account of bringing the House to disrepute with his comments on 2016 budget. This followed the adoption of a motion on breach of privilege by Sunday Karimi and Nicholas Osai. The Senate has demanded Defense Minister Mansour Dan Ali to immediately withdraw a statement that anti-open grazing law in Benue State and Taraba State should be abrogated. The Senate resolved that the anti-open grazing law in some states was validly enacted. The minister had suggested the suspension of the implementation of anti-grazing laws in some states while negotiating safe routes for the herders.
In the mind of the Minister of Defense of this nation, the only way he can solve the problem of hundreds and thousands of people being killed in the state of Benue and Taraba is that the law they made against open grazing of cattle, where you cannot control the conflict between herdsmen and farmers, should be removed, so that whatever semblance of a law to keep law and order should be removed, so that anarchy can go on as it was the case before. We think that this republic is being misadvised by those who have been given appointments to take responsibility for the good governance of this nation. And therefore, they must be called to order. We must also advise the Minister of Defense to promptly withdraw that statement and advise whichever body he claims has approved that request that he has now brought to the public domain.
It is very ridiculous to have associated these killings to the anti-grazing law that was passed by the two states. As ably submitted by my colleagues that have spoken before me, I am not sure. I want to believe maybe the minister was carried away by the camera before him while he was speaking. Because in his home state, Zamfara, there is no anti-grazing law. And in fact, like Senator Gamade said, the killing that is going on in Zamfara is as much of the same volume as in
The All Progressives Congress APC in Ekiti State has criticized Governor Ayodele Fayose and governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Kolakbo Olujola, for visiting the public schools to canvass votes. The APC said visiting public schools during school hours to disrupt academic exercise is a condemnable and reckless politicking that has no merit in modern democratic government. The Publicity Secretary, Taiwo Olatunboso, accused Fayose of alleged election fraud by going around schools to collect teachers' voters' card for a fee, after which the cards were allegedly photocopied and taken to the governor. Taiwo also urged the governor to pay 8 months arrears of workers' and teachers' salaries, including payments of pensioners' entitlements. In crisis breeding at the Nigeria Bar Association, NBA, Ikeja branch over who takes the leadership of the association seems to have been resolved. The NBA's second national vice president, Monday Ubani, disclosed this to journalists after a meeting of the leadership of the association and its members in Ikeja, Lagos State.
The great thing about Ikeja branch is that we're very resilient. There is no issue that we cannot resolve. Remember the time I was coming in as the chairman, 2012, 2014, there was issue also. We had to go to court. But at the end of the day, we resolved it. Elders stepped in, and then people had to share their sword. So there has been this arrangement also that after the tenure of this current leadership, somebody who was once recognized by the national body, but who stepped down for the sake of peace, should be encouraged to become the chairman of the branch through an electoral process. So I'm so happy the way elders, people like Femi Falana, Mr. Adeshina San, Tunde Adejuigwe, Otaru San, Lawa Pedro, so many other, even Muniz Banirera is not here. So many senior advocates of Nigeria that are members of the branch, they all sent in their word that whatever we can do, like Babatunde San, that this matter should be resolved very peacefully.
Allegation of financial misappropriation, Ubani said the issue will be investigated.
The truth has not been established, but the point is that there has been a petition reportedly written to the president of the NBA, and then we will, wait for the reaction of the national. We also know that we have an annual general meeting during which the account of the NBA will actually come under scrutiny. So those issues can be raised at the next annual general meeting, which is also coming up either in this June or early July. But I know this is where we look at, because we don't know the state of the accounts of the branch by now. But when those accounts will be presented by an auditor, people will now go through the process and probably make inquiries and make ask questions as to the veracity of some of the allegations that have been peddled in that petition.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned the Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Babayo Gamawa, and 5 others over an alleged 500 million naira fraud. Gamawa was at some point Speaker, Bauchi State House of Assembly, the Deputy Governor, and Senator representing Bauchi North. The case, which first came up at the Federal High Court Bauchi, was presided over by the Chief Judge, Justice Muhammad Shitu Abubakar. Counsel for the EFCC, Abubakar Aliyu, said the defendants were accused of laundering 500 million naira in 2015. However, he maintained that the EFCC is yet to establish any proof as to whether the money from the Dastuki's arms deal or part of the Zani's campaign fund. The Defense Office and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOWA, has graduated 44 students in different vocations in its Skill Acquisition Center. Speaking at the graduation ceremony held in Abuja, President of the association, Omobolanle Olunishakin, charged the students to act on what they have learned. Omobolanle also said since the inception of the empowerment program, participants have been given various trade startup packs and financial assistance in the fields of endeavor.
The takeoff of this skill center, the Power Skill Center, was effective January 2016. So we've trained a lot of widows too. And of course, like you see, we don't just train our widows. We also buy them starter packs. We give them money to rent shops so that their businesses can commence immediately. Apart from the fact they are contending with the fact of losing their husbands and the breadwinner, they're also, of course, facing other challenges as regards to taking care of themselves and their children. Hence, the poor, came in to assist them so that they can be self-sufficient through vocational training, so that they can earn a living for themselves and their children.
The program is aimed at developing human capital and rendering help to the less privileged ones in the society. A group identified as Friends of Earth Nigeria has accused multinationals of using false certifications to infringe on the rights of landowners in local communities across the country. Registrar of Wellspring University, Edith Afam, disclosed this while delivering a lecture on the theme, Solution to Large-Scale Oil Palm Plantation. Afam identified certification as a major cause of land grabbing and called for better means of protecting people, a view corroborated by other speakers at the event.
The process by which RSP or these bodies give oil companies the tag or the trademark to say, come, your product has met world standard or world requirements. Do we understand? International requirement. That's why today every company wants to go global. Every company wants to make sure that they are at the point where people recognize their goods, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria.
What we have is a non-binding gentleman's agreement that, look, let us observe certain things so that the product of your enterprise will be a good one. And what are we talking about? Palm oil specifically. I intend to show, I intend to poo-poo the very foundation of the so-called ROSP.
Organizers and participants who spoke about the importance of the event on the nation urged government to address the situation of land grabbing and encourage farmers to also go into plantation of oil palms.
We raise our voices to the world and to expose the lies of Okomu Oil Palm PLC Company. We have reviewed the activities and we all agree that the round table sustainable palm oil certification is a false solution because it does not address environmental and social problems in the community.
They are coming to our land is a disadvantage where there is no advantage of it. We are not fighting the government, neither fighting the company. We have to fight for our rights.
Okomu oil is another Dracula in Nigeria, sucking the blood of the people dry, of which the government is celebrating as an employment creator. Whereas the contrary, it is entirely different because they don't have any employment opportunity for the communities.
But today we are taking a dimension that, for us, it becomes very germane, such that the round table sustainable oil palm certification, which some of these agricultural or manufacturing industries tout about, is not something we consider as laws that, we recognize.
You're watching Superscreen News at 10. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll take some business stories. Stay with us. Welcome back to Superscreen News at 10, and now for some business stories. The Lagos State government has shut down 5 banks and 80 buildings at the Allen Avenue Ikeja area over alleged illegal conversion. The government said the affected buildings got approval as residential buildings but were later converted for commercial purposes without approval. The general manager, the Lagos State Building Control Agency, Lekon Shodende, said owners of the affected buildings have been issued notices over 1 month ago to regularize the documents and get commercial approval, but ignored the call. Shodende also said LASPA is carrying out an audit on buildings in Lagos State to ensure safety. The West African Gas Project, WAPG, has expressed commitment to strengthening gas pipelines across the West African countries. Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachiko, disclosed this at the 17th West African Gas Pipeline Authority Committee of Ministers meeting held in Abuja. Kachiko called on member states to work together in order to achieve efficient generation of gas needed for energy for sustenance of the West African region.
This project has been planned under NEPAD as probably the, 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 And it is absolutely important that we do whatever we can to ensure the sustainability of this relationship. It has floundered here and there, sometimes no sufficient gas, sometimes issues of payments. But I think the founding fathers, our leaders, the heads of state, have remained very committed to ensuring that whatever were the deals of setting up of this relationship is carried to its natural fruition and gets better. I'm one of those who are very futuristic in thinking and look forward to the day when we will have adequate gas supply and gas connectivity all over the West African region so that power will become available to our citizens. And when production issues that we sometimes have in Nigeria would have been solved for good, and obviously the financial muscles or payment system that are essential to drive this process and make the company profitable would have been put in place. It is a job we cannot afford not to deliver on, because I think providing power to the African people, especially West African people, is probably the single most important development item in this subcontinent. And it's absolutely important that all of us as brother ministers continue to work very laboriously to achieve those objectives.
On the spot, the Managing Director, West African Gas Pipeline Country, Waltz Perez, called for cooperation amongst all parties involved in providing power to West African region.
Honorable Ministers, I must emphasize that the WACP is a tangible community asset built to operate as a commercial enterprise, enabled by a strategic partnership with the states. But if we are to unlock and maximize value across this regional enterprise, all partner entities must work together and play our respective roles. Our vision is for the shared asset to operate as a network, whereby gas can easily be transported from one country to another, similar to the way that electricity is passed and shared. From the efforts I mentioned earlier, I believe WAPCO has demonstrated that instinct for collaboration and the desire to turn around the fortunes of the WACP. However, if we are to consolidate on our progress made so far, we'll have to work together to resolve the current uncertainty stemming from the force majeure and bring certainty to gas supply.
The ECOWAS countries were ever optimistic that the concerted efforts of the committee and the support of stakeholders will resolve uncertainties confronting the gas pipeline project. No fewer than 3,000 containers have been trapped inside the Lagos Port complex of Apapa as a result of the lockdown created by a new policy introduced by the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA. Trouble started when the NPA management at the port decided to take over the control of traffic in and out of the port from the Nigerian Navy. The new policy let the truck drivers down tools on Tuesday and Wednesday in protest. The chairman, Association of Maritime Truck Owners, Remi Olugbemi, who also confirmed the development to journalists, said the truck drivers were agitated by the new policy because it is still new. According to him, the new directive is not going down well with the truckers because they are at the receiving end of the policy. Assistant General Manager, Corporate and Strategic Communications, Nigerian Ports Authority, Issa Suwaid, pleaded for calm, saying the authority is already liaising with terminal operators to provide easy exit for the containers inside the port. Still in business, the Federal High Court in Lagos has convicted the First Bank of Nigeria, FBN, its chairman, Ibukun Awoshika, and Managing Director, Adeshola Adedunton, of contempt of court. The court dismissed their preliminary objection to a contempt charge filed against them by the Ejama Ebubu community in LMA local government area of Rivers State. The court found them guilty of refusal of the bank to release 17 billion naira and interest that First Bank allegedly guaranteed to pay the community on behalf of Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited. The bond is in respect of the judgment debt against SPDC in an oil-spill suit filed by the community. Justice Ibrahim Buba, however, suspended the sentencing for 3 months to enable the bank and its officials purge themselves of the contempt. We'll take another break now. When we return, we'll take some foreign stories plus give you the best in sports. Stay with us.